Welcome back to today's episode. And today, we're asking a really big one, the climate question. It sounds simple, but it's the kind of question that actually changes how we see our future.
Exactly. Because when we say a climate question, we don't just mean what is climate change? We mean what does it mean for us, for our food, for our children, for our lives?
Right. And maybe the real question is, why should we care today? Because let's be honest, climate change feels slow. The ice melts far away, the storms happen on the news, and sometimes we think, that's not about me. But here's the twist. Imagine this. The food prices at your local store going up, the heat waves making summers almost unbearable, the floods destroying entire cities. That's not far away. That's your life, my life, our life.
Pretty scary, right? But let's not just stay in fear. Let's break it down. What is climate change? In simple words.
Okay, simple version. The Earth has always had a blanket of gases around it. That blanket keeps the planet warm enough for life. But in the last 150 years, humans added way too many gases, like carbon dioxide, into the blanket. Now it's too thick. The Earth is overheating.
And where do those gases come from? From burning coal, oil, gas, even our cars, our factories, even our phones charging right now.
And the crazy part? We actually know the solutions. Clean energy, solar, wind, better farming, even simple lifestyle changes. But here's the big climate question. Why aren't we doing enough?
Good point. Some say it's politics, others say it's money. And honestly, some people just don't believe it's real.
Yeah, and maybe that's the heart of the question. Not just, can we stop climate change, but do we really want to? Are we ready to change our habits, change our systems, maybe even change our idea of what progress means?
I read this powerful line. Climate change is not about saving the planet. The planet will survive. It's about saving us, because Earth existed for billions of years before us, and it will continue. The real question is, will we?
That hits deep. So let's leave today's episode with a challenge. Next time you hear about climate change, don't just think science. Don't just think politics. Ask yourself, what's my climate question? What role do I play in this story?
Exactly. Because the answer isn't somewhere out there. It's in how we live, how we vote, how we act, and maybe how we hope.
So let's think about the future for a second. Imagine the year 2050. If we don't act, scientists say parts of the Middle East, for example, could become almost impossible to live in because of extreme heat.
Yeah, and not just the Middle East. Coastal cities like New York, Mumbai, or Jakarta might be underwater. Millions of people could lose their homes. That's not far-fetched. That's data we already have.
It makes you wonder, why are we still moving so slowly? We already know renewable energy is cheaper in many cases. Solar, wind, even electric vehicles are becoming more common. So what's stopping us?
Honestly, it's a mix. Governments hesitate, companies protect their profits, and sometimes people feel powerless. It's like the problem feels too big, so they do nothing.
But small actions do matter. Think about plastic, for example. If one person reduces single-use plastic, it's small. But if millions do it, it becomes a cultural shift. Same with food choices, transportation, even voting for leaders who take climate seriously.
True. And here's something interesting. Climate action is not only about reducing harm, it can actually improve life. Clean air means fewer diseases. Green jobs mean more opportunities. Safer cities mean stronger communities.
Exactly. But here comes another climate question. What happens when wars and conflicts make it worse?
That's a tough one. Wars destroy infrastructure, burn fuel, release toxic gases, and stop countries from focusing on climate action. Take Gaza and the wider Middle East. War there doesn't just hurt people immediately, it also destroys water systems, damages farmland, and makes the region more vulnerable to climate stress.
So, in a way, war and climate change create a cycle. Conflict makes climate problems worse, and climate problems like droughts or resource shortages can also fuel new conflicts.
Pretty scary, right? But here's the hopeful part. Solving climate issues can reduce wars too. If communities have stable food, clean water, and fair energy systems, there's less reason for conflict.
That's powerful. Maybe the real answer to the climate question isn't just about science, but about peace, justice, and cooperation.
I like that, because the Earth doesn't care about borders. The atmosphere is shared. If one country pollutes, everyone feels it. And if one country takes action, others can be inspired.
So maybe the biggest climate question is this. Can we finally see ourselves as one planet, one family, before it's too late?
Let's hope the answer is yes.
Okay, let's push our imagination a bit further. What if we don't act? Like really, what's the worst case scenario?
Scientists have some pretty clear models. By the end of this century, global temperatures could rise by 3 to 4 degrees Celsius. That may not sound like much, but in climate terms, it's huge.
Right, because even 1 degree has already brought stronger hurricanes, heat waves, and rising seas. So imagine 4 times that.
Exactly. Think about countries like Bangladesh. Millions of people could be displaced by floods. Or places like North Africa and the Middle East, so hot that outdoor work becomes dangerous.
And that leads to migrations, people moving by the millions, which then creates political pressure, tension, even wars.
It's like dominoes. Climate stress triggers social stress. Social stress triggers conflict, and the cycle keeps repeating.
2. Solutions and technologies. But let's not just stay in the dark. There are solutions, right?
Oh, definitely. Clean energy is the biggest one. Solar panels and wind turbines are cheaper than fossil fuels in many regions already.
And then there's innovation, like carbon capture or reforestation projects that can absorb carbon naturally.
Yes, and even food technology, like plant-based proteins, vertical farming in cities, and smarter irrigation. All these reduce emissions and make our systems more resilient.
But the challenge isn't just having the solutions, it's scaling them and making sure governments, companies, and people are aligned. 3. The role of the individual.
Here's a question. Some people say, I'm just one person. What difference can I make? What do you think?
I'd say individual action matters most when it inspires collective action, like recycling, voting, using public transport. One person won't save the planet. But when millions do it, systems change.
Exactly. And don't forget, companies and governments respond to demand. If people buy greener products or demand clean energy, the market shifts.
So the climate question for individuals is, am I living as if the future matters? 4. War, Gaza, and the Middle East. We touched earlier on war and climate. Let's go deeper, because it's a big issue in our world today.
Yes. Look at Gaza. The war there doesn't just kill people, it destroys farmland, pollutes water, burns fuel, and leaves toxic waste. All of that worsens the local climate and environment.
And the Middle East is already one of the most climate-vulnerable regions. Add war on top of that, and you get water shortages, loss of crops, and even hotter living conditions.
So it's not just bombs today, it's environmental damage for decades. And this makes rebuilding, recovery, and survival even harder.
And globally, wars increase fossil fuel use, reduce cooperation, and distract leaders from climate action. It's a double hit. 5. Hope and future vision. But let's bring back hope, because if we stay only in the problem, people switch off.
I agree. The hopeful part is we already have the tools: wind, solar, better farming, new technologies. What we need now is political will and global cooperation.
And history shows us humans can change fast. Think about the internet. Think about vaccines. Think about space travel. In just decades, impossible things became real.
Exactly. So why not with climate? Imagine cities with green roofs, electric buses, clean skies, and safe water for everyone. It's not fantasy, it's possible.
So maybe the real climate question is this: do we choose fear or do we choose action?
And I'd say we choose action because the future isn't written yet. It's ours to decide.
Outro music fades in. Thanks for joining us in this deep dive. The climate question isn't just science. It's personal, it's political, it's human.
And remember, every step, small or big, counts. Until next time, stay curious, stay hopeful.